So, Max, we're less than 4 weeks away from Texas high school football season, and we can't wait. We're very excited.
Yes.
We're an excitable bunch here at DTTF Live. And so we've already taken a look forward at week 1 because we have the week 1 schedules out, and we know what we know what it's going to be, what's going to be out there. And here's a spoiler alert. There's a lot of really, really good games.
Right.
A lot of them. And a lot of them involving reigning state champions going up against really tough squads. Yeah. Let's start in 6A. These are the week 1 games in Texas high school football we're most excited about. We'll start Lake Travis and Converse Judson. All right. First and foremost, Judson visits Lake Travis, by the way.
Right.
And first and foremost, the battle of the quarterbacks is super interesting. You got Julon Williams over there at Converse Judson.
Right.
You got Charlie Brewer over there at Lake Travis. We obviously have very high expectations for Lake Travis. We have very high expectations for Converse Judson.
Both programs.
And this is a game. Is Lake Travis going to go D1?
Yes.
They will? Okay. Lake Travis going D1. So then this could be a preview of a state semifinal.
Right.
You know?
I mean, the D1 this year has kind of become a full-out brawl.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, I've got to... Okay. Dr. Susan Elza, if you're listening... Dr. Susan Elza, if I can speak directly into the camera to Dr. Susan Elza, the UIL athletic director, can we knock it off with this realignment stuff? Because I had just gotten the hang of who was in what district, and then you guys go and reshuffle it. Come on, guys. Help me out here. This has been a personal appeal to Dr. Susan Elza. So Judson and Lake Travis should be a fantastic game.
Yes.
And a squad, two teams that look like they've got legit state title aspirations. Another one, 2 teams that have legit state title aspirations, 2 teams that played in title games last year. Yeah. One of them won it in Katy. The other one lost it in Austin Westlake. And there's so many storylines. This is probably the game we're going to be focusing on a ton when it comes around. Because, first of all, you've got, 2 teams that played for titles. That's good enough. The clash in styles is super interesting, where you've got Katy with that traditional pro style, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Right. Going to get the Westlake spread with Sam Ellinger and company.
Quick decision.
5 plays. This will be our first time to see Katy. What does Katy look like after
amazing group graduate?
Yeah, exactly. So what do they look like? Super interesting in that one. Down in the Houston area, Spring Westfield and Houston Lamar. 2 teams that have terrific pedigree. 2 teams that lost a fair amount last year. From last year. Westfield's losing their big playmaker in Ed Oliver. Yeah. Lamar lost a number of playmakers from that defense as well. Yeah. What do these 2 teams look like? I think that this is going to give us a good glimpse into what that whole Houston area looks like, because these are kind of 2 of those Houston Blue Bloods. Down in 5A, Denton Ryan makes their 5A debut this year, and boy, do they open up with a big one. They travel to Lancaster, and Chris Gilbert's Tigers are going to be ready to make a statement early in this season. And here's their opportunity at home against a team that we think has a chance to win a state title. Lancaster and Denton Ryan should be a lot of fun. Cedar Park visits Hewitt Midway. Very interested in this. Cedar Park, of course, another defending state champ. They bring back, a fair amount. They lose a couple of playmakers offensively, but they bring back a fair amount. And they're going up against a Hewitt Midway team that, honestly, I'll be dead honest, we don't really know what to make of.
No. A lot of new things going on there.
A new coach there. They've got a number of moving parts. New quarterback. This is going to be a really, really interesting group in Hewitt Midway, but they draw the state champs at home in week 1. Should be a lot of fun. And then back down in the Houston area, Crosby and Manville. Speed all over the place. I want to see what Crosby does with Manny Netherly, a guy who can take over the game at any point. Manville always has big time athletes out there. This should be a lot of fun down there in 5A. Manville, of course, another drop down from Class 6A. Right. In 4A, 2 games I got my eye on: East Texas, Gilmer, and Liberty Ilo. How about that, huh?
Boy,
you want to get excited? Gilmer and Liberty Ilo is going to be a lot of fun. You've got the big-time defense with Liberty Ilo, led by Legarian Carson, going up against Gilmer's always high-flying attack. What does the high-flying Gilmer attack look like this year? We're going to find out real early in Texarkana. And then also in 4A, LaGrange and Liberty Hill. Another game that I think is flying under the radar. You've got
it's going to tell us a lot early on.
You've got J.K. Dobbins for LaGrange, the big-time running back, going up against what's always an outstanding Liberty Hill defense. So I'm very excited to see what happens there. Down in 3A, What does Cameron Yeo look like without Tran Smith? What does Cameron Yeo look like without Rick Rhodes?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to get tested very early when they travel to Belleville, and this is going to be a big-time gut check for Cameron Yeo because Belleville can ball. Belleville's going to be a lot of fun to watch this year, and Cameron Yeo has to go on the road to visit them. Very intrigued.
Yeah.
This will tell us a lot about both teams in the early going. Then up in the Panhandle, what about Childress and Wellington? We have very high expectations for Childress. We think that Childress could be the breakout star of Class 3A. Well, now they have to take on Wellington. Yes, a 2A power, but a very good one. And if Childress is what we think they will be, then going on the road and beating Wellington would be a very good sign that we're right. That would be a very but Wellington could also play spoiler here.
Yeah.
Wellington's got their own playmakers out there. Very excited to see Childress and the Skyrockets. Down there in 2A, another Central Texas matchup, Lexington and Mart. Talk about pedigree. Tons of pedigree in this one. Mart should be very interesting this year. We have very high hopes for them, as we do pretty much every year. But Mart, especially this year, after what I think most would call a rather ho-hum season last year, I think they've been building up to this year. They were very young last year. Very excited to see them. And Lexington will be no pushover, that is for sure. And then down in South Texas, Falls City and Bruni. Bruni was that team last year that I think flew under a lot of people's radars. Not ours. But flew under a lot of people's radars. Well, here's their chance at home to take on one of the true Region 4 South Texas 2A powers in Falls City. Falls City, Death Taxes, and Falls City. They're always very good.
Right.
What does Bruni do with them at home? I know they lost a ton from last year's squad.
Right.
What do they look like this year? Are they a one-hit wonder? We're going to find out. Don't forget, we did not forget about you six-man fans. Kroll and Guthrie. Kroll coming off of a really heartbreaking loss in the title game last year. They were going for their third straight title. What do they look like this year? We've got high expectations for them. Taking on Guthrie, a squad that has been there, done that, got the T-shirt, a squad with tons of pedigree. Kroll and Guthrie is probably the six-man game that I'm most interested in. Max, you've got some. You're going to have some choices to make as far as which one to go to. In fact, this might, week one, we got to figure out what we're going to be doing and everything.
Well,
but
I may be hamstrung because of our secret project and needing to film a few more things.
Oh, really? Because I was going to say,
but that would be a fun game anyway.
I was going to say I could be convinced to do a Saturday game, maybe down in another part of the state, if you want to.
Well, maybe.
If you want us to come to.
There's a hot rumor on the street.
What?
That the Saturday games.
What?
I may be in Frisco.
If you want me to come to your Saturday week one game, stop it. If you want me to come to your Saturday week one game, tweet me at Tepper and sell me on it, and I'll see what I can do. It's got to be on Saturday because I work on Friday nights.
Greg,
for Fox Sports.
We'd love to have you at the Star.
That's gonna do it.